And the roundtable's all here. Former DNC Chair Donna Brazil, New Yorker staff writer Susan Glasser, SCOTUS blog editor Sarah Isger, and former Trump White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus. And Reince, I want to ask you just quickly about the change in that website on January 6th.
Well, look, I mean, the president campaigned for 4 years. I think he started a lot of his rallies with a January 6th Pledge of Allegiance, and I honestly believe that this is the president having fun with Democrats and people in the media that go bananas every time he does these sorts of things. And I think he's so thoroughly entertained by it, to be honest. I don't think he is trying to rewrite anything. I think he actually enjoys it.
Can't imagine those officers are entertained by it. But let's turn to Minnesota. Trump has forcefully defended the ICE officer who shot Renee Good. And J.D. Vance said it's a tragedy of her own making, regardless of who you think may have been at fault there or any judgment. Is that the right thing for the administration to be doing at this point?
Well, I mean, part of the problem here is that the mayor came out, I think, like a clown, and immediately, before anyone else spoke, accused the officer of murder, started throwing the F-bomb around about ICE, total, I think, an affront to law enforcement and the rights of the federal government to enforce and the laws that the law says they must enforce. So, first of all, the mayor should shut his mouth and say, we're going to wait for an investigation for all the facts to come out. And the fact of the reality is, I've tried cases, I've been in court. I know that one of the most important things in trying a case is a jury instruction. You can dismiss cases with them, summary judgment. The most important question for any jury in a case like this, and I have it here, is does a reasonable officer believe the suspect imposed an imminent threat of serious bodily harm? And the answer to that question is yes. And because of that, there is no case here.
Sarah, you want to jump in on this one? Should the president, should these senior officials, whatever you're saying about Mayor Fry, it's the president of the United States, it's J.D. Vance, it's Kristi Noem.
It's everyone, frankly. It's everyone on Twitter who saw, the same video and takes wildly different things away from it. I wish everyone would wait for an actual investigation.
But it's very different when senior officials weigh in.
It is. They should wait. The mayor should wait. The truth also, though, is that this is a very unusual situation because it's a federal officer. You go back to Ruby Ridge, this happened in, where Idaho charged the officer in that case. Back to James Meredith, when U.S. Marshals were in Mississippi trying to enroll James Meredith, there was a riot that used tear gas, and that Mississippi charged the marshal. That was removed to federal court because this is a federal officer. So Minnesota will not really be able to charge the officer in this case, regardless of the investigation. It will go to federal court, and it will almost certainly be dismissed regardless.
And Donna, your reaction to all this and all of the political rhetoric, and I did point out to Tina Smith that you have many Democrats making murder charge.
Well, first of all, I want to say on January 6th, because I can't let that go by, it's a shame. It's a shame that the president is trying to rewrite history that we all witnessed. And to somehow think that this is going to provoke some laughter, some entertainment, no. 140 Metropolitan and Capitol Hill police officers were injured. People died that day. There's no reason why we should make fun or mock that occasion. Minnesota, tragedy. My heart still breaks. It's getting harder and harder to listen to all of the rhetoric when a mom of 3 children is dead, she's deceased, and we're vilifying her, we're calling her a terrorist when she was murdered in her own neighborhood. We need a full, complete investigation. The American people should know that this should never happen again. No one should feel unsafe in their neighborhood, sitting in their car, trying to get out of harm's way, and to shoot this woman point blank in the face. We all should not just mourn her loss, her passing, but also find ways that we can heal this community. People in Minnesota and other places where ICE has landed, they are feeling unsafe right now, unsecure, and no one should get away with this. We need an investigation.
And Susan, the investigation is happening. The state and local officials are not part of that. He was, as Sarah points out, a federal officer. we've also looked at the protests. I mean, there have been large protests. There have not been massive protests across the country like George Floyd. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I see the country very divided right now, Martha, and partially as a political tactic. I think it's a terribly painful moment when we can't say it's a tragedy and when there seems to be political opportunism in calling a woman a domestic terrorist before we know anything about the events, especially in the context of the same week as the anniversary of January 6th, where we've now not only pardoned all the violent people who physically attacked our capital, and I think it's about the temperature in this country being purposefully inflamed. There's a lot across the political spectrum.
For someone's
where
entertainment.
people have an interest in increasing this kind of division. But, everyday Americans can look at this and say, this is a horrifying thing that occurred here. And the fact that we have political leaders in the country who aren't saying that to us right now at a moment when we need to hear it is really where the politics are in 2026.
What about the concept of people using cars to ram officers, people in convoys blocking federal agents to do their job? Isn't that something that we think is wrong? I mean, we have become a country that isn't just politically divided, but now we've got people using vehicles, impeding police, not following orders.
Right, was it wrong to storm our own Capitol?
They shouldn't call these people names. What about using physical violence?
Sarah, I want to take that to you just in terms of training. And you heard actually Chief Jason Armstrong say he thought the ICE officer actually had a legal case there. But in terms of all these encounters,
I'm sorry. Reince Priebus, or whatever his name is, Pubic, whatever his name is a deeply disturbed human being. To come on here and say that Donald Trump is doing things and he's enjoying it is a slap in our face as we suffer in this country. So he can do all this to entertain himself and to make social media videos that people can get hits on? Is that why the police officer was holding his phone while he killed and shot Renee Good in the face in front of her wife and her dog? She was turning her wheel to leave. That cop, he wasn't a cop, that officer jumped out of his vehicle, started grabbing her door, scaring her. She just wanted to get out of there. That man approached her with anger, grabbing at her car, trying to pull her out of her car. She just wanted to get out of there. The other police officer who shot her stood in front of her vehicle, and if he was so scared, why was he holding a cell phone? And why was he in front of the vehicle if he was so afraid of the last person who dragged him in the vehicle? Maybe he should stop putting himself in harm's way. Maybe he should stop attacking innocent people. And Reince Priebus here trying to make it seem like she asked for it, like she was trying to ram him with her car. And he's on national TV on This Week, ABC, spewing lies.
but they have increased. What about the training?
Yeah, I've been involved in several police-involved shooting investigations at the Department of Justice, and one of the first things that you look to in any investigation is what was the officer trained to do, because it informs what a reasonable officer...
The officer wasn't trained to do anything but attack.
...or so of in-the-line deaths are caused by cars, are caused by vehicles. Every officer is trained, as that man said, to avoid the danger of a vehicle. There's no question he shouldn't have been in front of that vehicle at that time. But the Supreme Court has also said we do look to the totality of circumstances, including the fact that in that moment he was in front of the vehicle as that vehicle is moving. So legally, I think it is a relatively clear case once it gets to federal court. But politically, It
But-
really highlights, I think, the divide that this country feels that everyone.
But how far in front of that vehicle was he? Was he 2 feet or was he 30 feet in front of that vehicle? Because there was plenty of room for her to turn her car and get out of the way without coming anywhere near him. The angle that we are all seeing is not a good angle. If we could just see from the top down, there could be an AI generated version where we can see how far away from the vehicle he truly was. He put himself in harm's way. And not only that, Renee Good was in a calm and cheerful position. She said, dude, I'm not mad at you, dude. He attacked her car, came bursting out of his vehicle, running towards her car to attack her, trying to pull her door open. And in the meantime is saying, dude, I'm not mad at you. Who was the one who was showing anger? He was. Who was the one who was showing aggression? He was, not her. He scared her and she just wanted to get out of there. She was kind enough to let other ICE agents go before her, before fleeing. So if she was angry or trying to run somebody over, why did she just calmly let other vehicles go in front of her? She could have rammed them out of her way. We all know what happened there. You're trying to gaslight us, and we will not be gaslit. Renee Good was murdered. And he was filming it for the President of the United States enjoyment, according to Reince Priebus. What a stupid name, by the way.
Rushed to their political priors when they saw that video.
And Susan, I want to ask you quickly just on foreign news, and we've had a lot of it, obviously, this week. Venezuela, Greenland, you had